Okay, good morning, everyone. Today we have quite a packed program with various speakers, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Tom Schreiter. I've known him for many years, and we shared many a meal together in various towns in the UK. Tom's actually author of 40 books on network marketing, and I'll give a link later. Tom, also known as Big Al Schreiter, has 46 years experience in network marketing and multi-level marketing. As the author of the original Big Al training books in the late 70s, he has continued to speak in over 90 countries on using the exact words and phrases to get prospects to open up their minds and say yes. Anyone can receive his free weekly tips by going to bigalbooks.com. So if you need more leads, want better prospects, curious on what steps to teach distributors to be a leader, want to know how to build a bigger downline, desire to be a better closer, want to build instant rapport, want to be more successful in MLM network marketing, or just want to be better networker, Tom Big Al Schreiter gives you step-by-step exact words to say and exactly what to do. As the author of numerous audio trainings, Tom is a favorite speaker and trainer at company conventions and regional events. I've used a lot of Tom's trainings, and I've got a lot of his books, and as a result of a lot of that stuff, I've actually had quite a lot of success. So I'm very happy to introduce Tom to you today, who's going to be talking about a leadership training. Let me just find Tom and I can unmute him. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me now? All right, well, let's get started. In the next 28 minutes, we want to get a start on building leaders. And if you're wondering why we want to talk about leaders, is in network marketing, there's really one measure of success, and that is leaders. You can measure somebody's success by the number of leaders they have in their group. Distributors, as you know, will come and go. They'll use the money to pay off a credit card or get distracted, get discouraged, like leaves in the wind, come and go. But long-term is what we want to do is build leaders. There's an old saying that goes something like this. We build leaders and make them successful. That's our business. Everything else is kind of alongside. So to give you an idea of the difference in leaders, 50 years ago, I got started network marketing and I had a friend named John. Still a friend, as a matter of fact. We started about the same time. We were crossline. And John had some success. He started making sales and stuff and moving forward. In the first 2 years, he had reasonable success. Me, I had zero success. So he moves away to Washington State, not hear from him for almost 30 years. 30 years, we find each other, we meet each other, and guess what he had been doing the last 30 years? Every year he joined a new company. And every year he started again from scratch. He never built any leaders. All the time he started over and over again from scratch. Now during those 30 years, after my 2-year start of really ridiculous, no results, I had built, several leaders. And I could probably travel and not worry, where he would always be trying to build a new group. So the thing we want to do is build leaders. Leaders are everything in network marketing. And remember that everybody else, we're just a side note, kind of a temporary thing for them because they have something else on their mind. Now, what is a leader? There's lots of ways to describe leaders. We'll get to that in a moment. Well, where am I going to find these leaders? I need to, build these leaders. Well, there's 2 cool places. That's it. So if you want to get some leaders on your team, there's only 2 places to go. So are you ready? Here we are. Place number 1. we can steal them. Yep, we go to somebody else's organization, tell them it's no good, our deal is better, and we steal them. And they say, well, I'm not really sure. And we say, well, we'll give you €5 more than what you're getting now. Well, if I'm doing the same amount of work and €5 more, sure, I'll come. So we can literally steal leaders from other people's organizations. Now here's a question. You can just type in your comments in the chat if you want. Does anybody see a downside with stealing somebody else's leaders? So what would the downside be? Well, if they left to join us for €5, what's the odds of them leaving tomorrow to join somebody who offers them €6, €1 more? So what we've done is attracted a temporary leader. And yes, we'll have a leader for a moment, but it'll go. There's no loyalty, no connection. And we're really back starting from zero, like my friend John. So that's one way, and it does work. People go around their whole career trying to steal leaders, and every day and every year, it's more work, trying to replace those that just came through for a moment. Now, the other way is to find people who are not leaders and teach them how to do it. Now, I want you to imagine somebody who's not a leader. They don't know what they're doing. They're saying the wrong things. They don't know how to start. They don't know exactly the things they should be doing. But we teach them how to do it. And they say, wow, it changed my life. Now I have an income. Now I'm a leader. Now I have a really good income. And I'm going to be a bit more loyal because you actually changed my life. So the second way, which is to find people who are not leaders, teach them how to be a leader, is probably the better way. So if you're out there looking for leaders, you say, well, wait a minute, how am I going to find them? Well, I will mention your future leaders don't even look like leaders. They look something totally different. They haven't even learned how to do it yet. So they don't know the difference between a leader, not leader, and the basic things. So what we're going to do is find people who are not leaders. And we have to say, which ones can we work with? Now, if you worked with people before in management or a network marketing leader, you know that maybe people don't perform the way they should. That's pretty obvious, right? So here's a little leadership trick that is used by management and network marketing and everybody who kind of knows a little bit about leading people. And that is, there's only 2 reasons people don't perform. Number 1, they won't do it, WON''T. And number 2, they can't do it. So before we panic and start explaining to people what to do or why they should do this, we need to find out, first of all, what's holding them back. Number 1, can't do it. That's a mindset thing. You say, oh, that mindset thing. Yeah, so if there's something in their mind, like from their past or confidence issue, or I'm an introvert and can't do anything and I'll never be successful, that's a can't do mental thing. Won't do, the second one, is I want to do it, but I don't have the skills to pull it off. So I'm a pilot. And before I became a pilot, I wanted to a whole lot, but I couldn't fly until I actually learned the skills of how to actually fly the plane. So there's only 2 reasons people in our team are not performing. You say, well, I have some people who are not on the call today. Well, is it because they won't get on the call? Because it's not important to them? Or because they can't get on the call because we didn't teach them why it's important, didn't give them the skills of how to get on the call, didn't teach them that habit? Interesting. So that little trick right there will save you a lot of time, because if they won't do it and all we do is teach them more skills that they won't do, well, we're wasting our time. So ask yourself, are my team members not performing because they won't do it? It's a mental thing, or they can't do it. So you say, okay, that's good, but I need to get some people started right now. So where am I going to look for these people? Well, when we look for people now who are not leaders, they're not going to look like leaders. They're going to look like the misfits of society, or people that are maybe have social problems, or people that try hard and not get things done. We are going to look for non-leaders and say, okay, I got it. So I'll go find somebody, but who should I find? Well, if you think about the characteristics, if somebody's not a leader, remember the won't do and the can't do? Here's my question. You can answer it in the chat here. If you went out looking for somebody to become a potential leader on your team, would you look for somebody with skills, or would you look for somebody who didn't have skills but had a desire? So just type in your thoughts. Would you look for somebody with a desire, or would you look for somebody with skills? Yeah, both. That'd be great. Yes. Oh, wait, they might already be a leader if they had both. So here is what I found in my career. And that is, when you go out looking for people, I used to look for people with pretty high level skills. I'd say, hey, there's that bank vice president. He knows everybody, and he has a lot of influence with people. He knows how to talk to people. He's a great salesman. And if he decides to do my business, what's going to happen? Well, he says, I'm pretty good at this. I have confidence. I have skills. I can do many things. So I'll try this network marketing. And if it doesn't pay off in 30 days or 60 days, that's okay. I have skills to do other things. I can buy a sandwich franchise or something like that. And I found that people with skills already, but didn't have that deep down desire, really couldn't last through the building period. So I've never had one of those work. But hey, maybe in year 51 I will. What I have had work is finding people with absolutely no skills and taught them the skills, but they had a deep burning desire to do this. So when you're out there looking for people, what we're going to look for is people who want a change in their life, but obviously don't have the skills or the ability to do it. And that's why they're going to need us. And we provide the skills, and there's the bonding where they become a long-term leader because we change their life. So I'll show you an easy way to find these people. So all you have to do is, let's say I'm going to, I don't know, Birmingham. And, you know, I don't know anybody in Birmingham. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to go to the local clerk at one of the stores, and at least they'll talk to me. They have to be polite, because if they're rude to me, they get fired. And I would say, I'm just curious, could you do me a favor? And the clerk would always say, oh, yes, I'm a polite person, because if I'm impolite, I get fired. So yes, I'm happy to do you a favor if I could. And say, I am looking for. Now, who am I looking for a prospect here to help build into a leader? I'm looking for people who have a full-time job and a part-time job, and would like to get rid of one of those jobs. Do you know anybody like that? Now, here's what's interesting about that phrase. I'm looking for people with a full-time job. Well, that means they're responsible. And they also have a part-time job. That means they're hungry for money. They need more money. They're willing to work for it. Would like to get rid of one of those jobs, which means they want to have a better lifestyle and a better life. This is the perfect prospect for me. So they'll say, yes, my sister, she has a full-time job and a part-time job, and she'd love to get rid of one of those so she had more time with the kids. I says, great, give me your sister's number. Why do you want her number? Well, so I could call her. Why do you want to call her? To help her get rid of one of her jobs. Oh, okay, here's your number. Hi, sis, I just talked to your sister. I was telling your sister I'm looking for people with a full-time job and a part-time job. And who would like to get rid of one of those jobs? Don't keep it for life. Do you know anybody like that? And she mentioned you. Is that true? Yeah. Oh, great. then let's talk. That wasn't so hard, was it? So if I do that with the clerk and she knows somebody, great. If she doesn't know anybody, she says, oh, I'm sorry, I'd like to help you, but I just don't know anybody. But here's the next question. What is the third possible answer? What about me? And that's a great answer, isn't it? So if you're going to start working with somebody, at least have somebody that you can work with that has what you need, which is a strong desire to change. So what we're looking for is not skills. We're looking for a desire to change. You say, but I have some team members now. Maybe one of them could be good. I said, all right. So far we learned how to find them from scratch, which is not that hard just by asking. But you say, well, what about my current team members? Well, just think back to when they joined. So we're talking to them on Zoom or sitting in their living room or wherever it may be. When they joined, they signed up. What did they say? Now there's three possibilities what they could say. They could say, number one, I will try. Now, in the chat here, if somebody tells you, I will try, what does that mean? Like, I will try to be at the meeting today. What does that mean? Who here could translate that into reality? When somebody says, I will try to make it, or I'll try to be there, what does that mean to you and I? Probably not. They won't be there. Yeah, that's kind of what it means, right? So if somebody says, I will try, that means the first little tiny reason that can get in the way will get in the way. Like I heard there's a new cat video on Facebook. Oh, I can't go. So if somebody says, I will try, that's the lowest level of commitment, and we'll still sign them up because, hey, you know, things could change in their life, correct? But that is such a low starting level. Horrible. But it's better than nothing, so we take them as a distributor. So just listen to people say, oh, I will try. Now here's level 2. And most people will fall into level 2. When they join, they will say, I will do my best. So listen to that, however they put it into words. But if they say, I will do my best, that's awesome. I'd take that all day long. And that means, yeah, they know there's going to be some challenges come up, but they're going to do their best to overcome those challenges. Yeah, they want to go to that special meeting because Derek is coming to London, but their car breaks down. But they say, you know what? I'm going to do my best. I'm going to take a train to be there. So if somebody says, I'll do my best. Awesome. Give yourself a high five. Now, there is a third level. And this is the one I look for before I start training somebody to become a leader. And that is, I will do whatever it takes. Now, if somebody says, I'll do whatever it takes. Life is pretty good. That means no matter how bad the obstacle is, they're going to figure a way to jump over it, go around it, ignore it, move on. They're going to do it. And they're going to need that because to learn to be a leader, there is a lot of things to learn. And if they're not fully committed, they'll get tired before they actually get to that spot. So what you and I are looking for is somebody says, I will do whatever it takes. I want to change my life. This is my chance. I can't be like a bank vice president and just go anywhere. This is my only chance. And when you are people's only chance and they say, I'll do whatever it takes, magic happens. My very best leader of all time was one of the most anti-social people you can imagine. And he was a very red personality that turned people off. But he said, I don't have any other really good opportunity like this, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it work. And he did. So don't look at where people are now. Look to where they want to be. The very second person I signed up in my group was a lady who was 46 years old, 12 children, lived on government support. Her husband was disabled. So if you look at where she was then, you say, wow, that's nobody could be a leader, but she became a leader because she wanted to be somewhere else to change the life of her family. So what we're looking for is people say, I will do whatever it takes. And these are the people that you and I are going to invest our time in to become a leader. Now, how do you invest the time in them and why? Let me tell you a little story about my friend, Richard Brooke. Richard owned a company many, many years ago, owned it for about 30 years before he sold and retired. And his company sold toothpaste. Toothpaste was a really good antioxidant, disinfectant, whatever. And it's network marketing. And there was a lot of dentists that liked it and some other people, kind of an expensive toothpaste. And he tells a story. He says, I'm running the company here and all of a sudden we run out of toothpaste. Our supplier said, not yet, not yet, not yet. And we totally ran out of toothpaste. And it was like 62% of our sales. So most of their sales was toothpaste. They had a few vitamins and skincare, but it's almost all toothpaste. Now, I'm going to ask you, if you owned a company and it went out of inventory of your number one selling product, would that be sort of a crisis? No, it was. He says, man, this is terrible. And we're out of it. And people started calling and our distributors couldn't have any, our leaders couldn't have any, our customers didn't have any. It was terrible. And finally, like 90 days later, we get our first shipment back in. He says, I breathe a deep sigh of relief, but here's what happened. About a week later, I start getting phone calls. And people are saying, well, is this toothpaste supposed to burn your mouth? This is supposed to make the inside of your mouth skin start to peel? Why is there a burning sensation? He starts getting these different phone calls. And he quickly realized there's something wrong with the toothpaste. And what it was is he was burning the mouths of his best customers, his leaders, and distributors because there was something wrong. So he calls the manufacturer and says, so what's the deal? And manufacturer says, well, we ran out of natural cinnamon, so we used artificial cinnamon. And Richard said, so artificial cinnamon, would that burn the inside of their mouth and make their skin peel? Oh, yeah, but at least you have your toothpaste. He goes, what? So not only has he burned everybody's mouth, he now has to do this big recall and apologize to everybody. And they were out of toothpaste for 9 months. Now, at the end of 9 months, what happened? Here's what he asked me. He said, so Big Al, what do you think happened at the end of 9 months? I says, I don't know. It's probably pretty ugly. He said, we didn't lose a single leader. I go, really? He says, leaders are everything, but we didn't lose a single leader. And he says, our company is a leadership development company disguised as a toothpaste company. Our whole strategy for all of our career is to build people and make them successful into leaders. And that's why I like what Derek does is he realizes that you have book of the month and you should read a book that's going to help you with your business and start personal development. So you have leaders like Richard did. This is one of the things to teach people how to become a leader. Now, teaching people how to become a leader, the step-by-step, how to teach them how to think, what to think, how to react in these situations, that's all pretty straightforward. You can just, I think, read this book for £5 in the UK. And what's better yet is if you say, well, I need some people to work on, I need to start closing some more people, right there. Just download that free mini course. It'll show you how to close people. So go to bigalbooks.com/closing. And there's a free miniature course to teach you how to close people. So you have a lot of people to choose from to teach to become leaders. Leaders are readers. There's a guy named Charles Tremendous Jones who always said leaders are readers. And he's built his entire brand and his business based upon books, getting people to read books. I love books. Obviously, I've written 40 some books just on network marketing, not counting the other topics. But what happens is we can change people. Now, you say, I'm going to teach people to become leaders. We have, I don't know, say 5 minutes here. Let me give you an idea of how we're going to start teaching them to become a leader. The number one thing is to teach them how to think. In every situation, there's two ways of thinking. And what we're going to do is teach people there's two ways of thinking, both are legitimate. Both ways of thinking are going to have a certain result. So what you do is look at the result you want and choose that way of thinking. Now, I'll do a quick example. In the UK, they're football crazy. So let's say Manchester United is battling out with Arsenal. So they're at the stadium and the game's tied 0-0 and 5 seconds to go. An Arsenal guy pulls down the pants of the ref. The ref goes down to pull his pants back up. And during that time, Arsenal picks up the ball, walks over to the Manchester goalie, punches the goalie in the nose and throws the ball in the net. And when the ref pulls up his pants, says, "Oh, they must have scored. Arsenal wins." Now, that's an event, isn't it? And our future is full of events. Now, when that event happens, there's two ways of thinking about it. Way number one, if you are Arsenal, you say, we won. We finally beat Manchester United. It's the greatest game ever in the history of the world. Let's go home and drink beer. What's the other way of looking at it? If you happen to be a Manchester U fan, you say, this is the most terrible thing in the world. Arsenal cheated. They'll be known as cheaters forever. This is terrible. We're depressed. Let's go home and drink beer. One event, two totally different ways of thinking about it. You say, oh, okay. Yeah, I understand. So when something bad happens in our business, or somebody says no, or somebody quits, or there's two ways of thinking about it. Choose the result you want, and then you know which way to think. Okay, so let's look at this another way. The people from Arsenal, they might say, this is terrible that we cheated. Everybody's going to call us cheaters. They're going to kick us out of the league. We won't be in the Premier League anymore. And I don't know, because we won, that means we'll never get new players because they think these players are good and we need better new people on, and our coach isn't that good. We need to replace him. And now that we won, they're going to raise the ticket prices next year and charge us more for beer. And this is terrible. So if you're from Arsenal, there's actually two ways you can think about this. If you're from Manchester U, they could say, this is the greatest thing that ever happened. We lose. Now we're going to get rid of our coach. We're going to get brand new players. And now we have a real chance of winning the premiership. And in every situation, good or bad, there's two ways of thinking about that. So one of the first lessons we teach our new potential leader is don't become a victim to what happened. Don't say, I'm going to feel good or bad based upon this event. No. There's two ways of thinking about it. So the company changed the compensation plan. Is there two ways of thinking about it? Yeah, you could say this is terrible. Now I have an excuse why I didn't do well. And now I can't do well because they changed everything on me. Or you could also say, I bet the company probably did it for a reason, a good reason. So it's probably going to mean a stronger company. And this is great. So every situation has two ways of thinking. Once you adjust how they look at things, so they're no longer being a victim of events, now we can start teaching some real hardcore skills. Because leadership isn't about recruiting. It isn't about all these other things they talk about. It's about hardcore skills that they learn to do. So people look at them and say, that's my leader. That's who I'm going to follow. And I have confidence because of how they look at things. Anyway, that's 2 minutes. All right. I got about 1 minute here to wrap things up because I know you have the book part coming, which is going to be awesome. Let me try this. If you can, just use this script. I'm looking for people who have a full-time job and a part-time job. I'd like to get rid of one of those jobs. If you know anybody like it. And when you talk to these people, they say, They're all open-minded. They all want a better life. They don't want to work 2 jobs the rest of their life. What a great way to start. So that little script is just a good way to start. Second of all, don't look at where people are. Look if they have a strong desire for change in their life. Number 3, if you're going to build a leader, you better start teaching them the skills of what they have to do. If you don't have the full list of skills to teach, is start by reading, I don't know how to part. There we go, like that. Start by reading one of the books on leadership. I've written 3 of them, but this one is a pretty good one to start with. And most people say, actually, it was voted Book of the Year in 2015 by my office staff. Okay. But if you want to learn how to get people to become leaders, this is the first one most network marketing leaders start with. So there's a book for you to read. There's a script for you to use. And now it's time to get on to your current book review. And with that, I'm going to say I'll see a lot of you in the free closing course, where we're going to learn how to close people on demand instantly with no rejection. So make sure you take that. And I'm going to turn it over to Derek. And thanks for inviting me today.
Okay, Tom, that's really, really good. Really interesting stuff. And guys, you know, you're all leaders. And once you sponsor one person, you're a leader. So, you know, the information we've had today is really, really part of the beginning of what we're going to be doing. And Tom, would you be willing to come back again sometime?
Yeah, and so would Keith. We always enjoy this. So
okay,
thank you very much.
Brilliant. We enjoyed Keith's training the other day as well. So it was really, really good. So thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you again in our trainings. Thank you very much. And I've posted the details on the books and everything there. And yeah, look forward to maybe one day traveling again. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm enjoying the Zoom calls.
Yeah. All right. So see everybody later. Get on to your book review. We got to make progress.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay, great. Good way to start the day. You know, Tom's a very good friend of mine, and I do look forward to him coming back to the UK, because we used to have some awesome meals. He particularly likes Mexican food, so I used to have to route out everywhere I went, London, Birmingham and Scotland, wherever we met. I used to have to look for a Mexican restaurant. I think it's because he's from Texas originally. Tom's actually over in Thailand at the moment. He didn't want to go back to America because of all the stuff that's happening over there. So his wife is Filipino, but he's actually living in Thailand at the moment in one of his houses that he's got over there, and he's been there for the duration of COVID now. So we're moving on now onto the next speaker, and this is somebody I've got to know over a long time now. And funny enough, it's a funny story really. Jane and I, we had a cleaning company many years ago, and that was our second job. So we used to clean offices, we used to clean people's houses, etc. And at the time, Jill needed assistance, and we used to clean a house. So you know, you can find different people in different places. So Jill has tried and failed in network marketing. She actually, back in the 90s, I think it was the water filters, NSA. In the 80s, I think it was, in fact. So she has since had a career in the science division of HSE. It's a very, very important role that Jill holds. And I know she's quite responsible. HSE is a government body that looks after various things, you know, including health and what I call it, safety, health and safety. So she's been in Hyperfund for 4 months now. I've watched her grow and develop into a beautiful leader and person, and she's got a team. She's particularly done well since she's actually been in the VIA mastermind sessions and contributes regularly to our 5 a.m. mastermind. So she now has a team, and they are actually second place in my overall 20. So you know, she's got quite an awesome team that's growing quite fast, and you know, the results are all there to be seen. So what we're going to be talking about now from Jill is the next chapter in our book. I'll just find you, Jill, to unmute you. And I will also, I'm not sure, I think you're sharing screen, so I'll also allow you to share screen. Okay, over to you, Jill. Thank you very much. And if you want to just say a little bit about yourself before you start, that's fine.
Yeah, so actually I worked out recently that I haven't been in hyperfund for 4 months. It's less than that. It's about 3.5. But I'm still very much learning, and the opportunity to read a book and represent stuff is a really good way for me to learn more about it. So I really welcome this opportunity. So the next chapter, chapter 5, is called Warm List Warheads, and you'll see I've chosen a nice warm colour for this presentation. And I'll try and explain what that's all about. So we start this business, we want to share it with others, so we need to make a list of people that we might share it with, and the warm list is people that we already know, at least well enough that they would recognize you. So for instance, my postwoman is potentially a member of my warm list, even though I don't even know her name, and but we speak to each other occasionally. And the warm list is very helpful for new network marketers like me to learn on, because they may be more forgiving and willing to listen to you than people that you don't know yet, even though those people you might think would be better qualified to be a leader in your team. So the book suggests that we should start by creating a list of 2,000 people, which is a mind-blowingly large number. And it does say after that, aim for 2,000, and then you'll get far more than you otherwise would have done. But one thing that it's worth looking at the book for is the memory joggers. So there are several pages devoted to different categories of people, and then different types of people. So in terms of professionals, nurse, golf pro, student, fashion model, etc., etc. And it suggests you spend 3 or 4 days going through those memory joggers and thinking of people that you know in each category. So I haven't got there yet, but when my current warm list dries up, I shall have a go at that. So the warheads, this book is basically about all the things that went wrong in their first year of network marketing and how to overcome it. So it's a bit of a strange perspective, really, but anyway, these warheads are the objections and excuses that new team members made about A, making a list, and B, working with the people on their list or contacting them, having conversations with them. And one of the problems is that those objections are not always verbalized. So you can have people in your team who you think are looking for contacts to invite to meetings, and they're actually not doing anything because of some of these objections. So I will go on to the warheads or the objections. So the first one is lack of conviction. So you have to start somewhere. You're going to choose people off your warm list to start to talk about hyperfund to, but you need time to build your enthusiasm and conviction and trust even. And you're afraid of misleading your friends more than you'd be afraid of misleading total strangers. And your warm list also has your chicken list, the people who are maybe more successful than you or otherwise are really scary to share it with. And maybe you want to be making good money before you start to share, but you won't make good money unless you share. So all those issues will be going on for people, and indeed have been going on for me, many of them. So the advice is resist the urge to wait before sharing, because you have to start somewhere, and you'll only get better by sharing and then noticing how you could improve it. If you've got concerns, discuss them with your upline, the people who invited you and the people who invited them. And you don't have to be perfect to introduce people. I am definitely learning that, because I am far from perfect, and some people have said yes. So doing is much better than thinking about it and worrying about it. So the next one is lack of self-esteem. If you believe you're not respected by your friends and family, you'll be afraid of being laughed at when you share hyperfund with them. So you won't speak to them. And then that will make your self-image even worse. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy and such things. But turn that round, because when you're making loads of money from hyperfund, your friends are going to be upset that you didn't tell them about it.
Mm-hmm.
So can you approach them with that mindset? I'm rattling through these. There's actually quite a lot in chapter 5. So number 3, fear of losing credibility. For instance, and this has been a big one for me, fear of losing my professional reputation if I share with colleagues. And there's a story of a person who asked his partner to approach his professional colleagues because he didn't want to do it himself. But actually, it's the best person to talk to someone is the person with the existing relationship with them. But you can maybe go first of all for contacts who aren't your key associates, maybe. I'm actually in the good position that I'm semi-retired, I'm part-time anyway, so it's legitimate for me to have another job at the same time. So some of the issues aren't quite as bad for me as a colleague that I've introduced that is saying I can't possibly talk to anyone who's in HSE. Okay, embarrassment from prior failure in network marketing, multi-level marketing. Well, that's me. I'm actually not that embarrassed about it. It's actually something that I'm finding I'm learning from, even though it was a small experience a long time ago. But if you've approached family and friends for multiple businesses that have failed, it might be a little more challenging. And so I've paraphrased the words at the bottom of this slide. You know, I've been researching network marketing carefully, and over the past years, I've enrolled in several companies to learn from their experts. The analysis has paid off, and now I've picked the global organization that allows me and others to be financially free in the shortest amount of time. So practice that until you can say it with conviction. Yeah, I can't say it without laughing about it currently, but it is a good script, and we all have to try these things and get better. So the next one is qualifying the leads, and in normal sales, qualifying is determining in advance if the lead has a need and a budget for the product you're trying to sell. And on the 5 a.m. we've been listening to Tim Sales, and he talks a lot about qualifying. So it's not something that you probably don't need to do. I think that the problem is if you reject contacting people because you've pre-qualified them as I don't think they'll be any good at it, and you can't judge whether someone will be any good at it because everyone can learn. And as Tom has just been saying, it's the desire that matters, not past the past track record. So don't unduly cross people off your list. Conflict of interest. Okay, this is a bit the same as one of the previous ones. A problem for, say, people like bank managers, religious ministers, people where there's a sort of inequality in power in some situations. So is it a conflict to persuade someone to join a company where you're in power over them in some aspect of your relationship? So the advice for that is that you don't mention the name of the company like Hyperfund when you're in your work role or your other role with that person, and you approach them in a separate situation, and you can still approach them. So again, I'm aware I'm rattling through this, but the other tips there are that you can prioritize your warm list. That's not saying you're crossing them off, but go for the ones that are most likely to be successful first. You can use three-way calls with your sponsor, which helps you get over fears that they won't listen to you. They'll listen to your sponsor because they're the expert. Following up is really important. I need to get better at this, and actually the suggestion that you have a physical card file and you move people from one section to another makes sense to me, because my lists on different pieces of paper is definitely not working. Your success results from attitude more than ability. So showing your enthusiasm and excitement is good. You don't have to be a salesperson. You're more of an educator. And you only have to say the minimum to invite your lead, your prospect, to a presentation. So actually don't try to sell the opportunity to them, because the presentation does that. And don't try to pressure people. So I'd actually recommend looking at this chapter, if only for the memory jogger for finding leads, but there is good stuff in it, and I've only really given you the contents. but I definitely want to hear from Myrna. So I shall stop there.
Okay, Jill, thank you very much. As yeah, there's a lot of new stuff I'm learning. I'm learning all the time. Just because, you know, we're at different positions in the business doesn't mean to say we don't stop learning. And yeah, there's a lot of juicy tidbits there. One of the things, guys, I picked up on with people, particularly that are at work in a work situation, I tend to say to them, look, it's not very ethical for us to speak now. So can I take your number and we'll call you, or I'll call you outside work, outside your work. Particularly me as a chef going into different places. I was actually in different businesses. And, you know, once I got the interest, I said, look, you know, we need to talk about this outside work. So I'll take your number and I'll get back to you when we're outside work, or when's your day off, and we'll speak then. So yeah, no, thank you very much, Jill. I'll open up quickly for anybody who wants to ask any questions, if they do, on this subject, and we'll then go on to the next speaker. So if anyone wants to unmute or make any comments, etc., they can do.
No, I just wanted to say a really good presentation. Really, yeah, really good.
Good.
Got some golden nuggets out of it, so that's good.
Brilliant.
I'd say the same, actually, Jill. Thanks a lot. That was really good, really well presented.
Yeah, no, it was definitely. You know, yeah, she's a professional presenter, I think, Jill. It was very good.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Anyone else want to say anything before we move on? Okay, great. So let's move on then. Okay, so the next speaker I've known for quite a long time in my previous business before I started this one. Myrna is an amazing person, really. She's done a lot in her life, and I sometimes think she's a little quiet for what she's achieved, and should be a lot more vocal with the things she's done. But you know, she's got a lot of experience to share with us, and also a great leader, building up a team. She was born in Suriname. How many people know where Suriname is? I bet you don't. But if you look on the map, you'll find it. Came to the Netherlands at the age of 2.5, and lived in a children's home. Ran away at the age of 18. So she's a runaway from a home. So that's, you know, again, lots of challenges. Been by herself ever since. So she did a lot of things at school. She was actually a mastermind facilitator training with Tony Robbins, business mastery, mediation education, basic family mediation. She's done other things, a wealth of other things, an NLP practitioner, an NLP master, trainer, nonviolent communication 1 and 2, career coach. She's done lots and lots of things that have helped her become the person she is today. And what I'd like to say is that, you know, I've got to know her and begun to you know, talk with her and understand how she ticks, and she's quite amazing, really, in terms of what she does. And if any of you have joined her Facebook, you will have seen the stuff she produces on there. It's just amazing in terms of the content and everything else. I just love the way she actually puts things across. So Myrna today is going to talk to us. Let me just unmute you, Myrna. There you go. Thank you very much, Myrna. I look forward to hearing what you have to share.
Thank you. I did just to keep my thoughts straight. I did make a small presentation. So if I could share that would be great.
Yeah, go away. Away you go.
Okay. So let me know when you can see it.
Yep, it's up.
All right. So for me, Hyperfund basically is learning me how to fly again, and I think it will be also for a lot of people who feel the same way, that it's like starting over again, because it's completely different. So it's going to be a very short presentation, and so I will talk to you a little bit about my journey into network marketing, because that's really strange and funny, kind of, and sad at the same time, and how I got my prospects on boards, and about my high, my lows, and what my next level, what I would want my next level to be. So, so my journey into network marketing. So just imagine you joining an affiliate marketing company, and they teach you everything you need to know about affiliate marketing, about writing content, how to connect through Messenger, how to respond to people's posts, and then come to find out months later that the program that we are promoting, it was an educational program, was basically a network marketing platform. So it was no wonder why a lot of people were struggling. And but I stayed with the company because I had learned so much about online marketing. And I found out what I love to do is writing. And this is something I really appreciated. And so that was my first introduction to network marketing. And I always swore I would never join a network marketing company. So, and then I decided, okay, if I'm in a network marketing company, then I need to learn more about network marketing. So, and Nicholas was with me in this group too, but Nicholas joined then already the group with Derek, and he said, well, if you want to learn something about network marketing, you need to contact Derek. So I contacted Derek, and long story short, I joined Derek in his journey. And like I said, it is, I used to find prospects through Facebook. This is, and I have 11 people in, but only 4 people have funded their, 5 or 4 people have funded their account, 3 of which are from Facebook, that I have connected through on Facebook, and the other ones are from LinkedIn. So, and I basically apply the same strategies that I have learned, is by writing content about, the reward system. To be honest, I don't know yet what kind of content I can write about Hyperfund, because we have to go follow the how you said it, the compliance thing. So I still have to find my way. Okay, what can I write about Hyperfund? But I did wrote a story about a reward system, and this is how I got one of my team members on. And what I do is, like, I connect, like I said, with other people's posts, and then through Messenger, I then go and build a relationship with them. And I have what I do have is I have a Word document where I have a script, and where I go to, and I take some of the answers that I give to customers or to prospects, and I keep adding onto that document and keep changing it around to see which one works and which one doesn't. And so now I also recently have started doing that on LinkedIn. And I found it a little bit, for me, myself, I need to switch, because most of the people that I talk to through Facebook, I already have some sort of, like, say, a connection with, either because they have reacted on my post, or I have been interacting on their post. And then after a while, we start connecting also on Messenger. And with LinkedIn, it's a little bit different. I don't know these people at all, and I don't post on LinkedIn. So I just search for industry, and I have the same thing also for LinkedIn. I have a script that I use, and I keep changing it around, keep adding in, keep changing, because one thing you say to one person will work, but when you say it to another person, it would totally turn them off. So, and also with the first company that I joined, they also taught me how to do YouTube films and stuff like that. But also for Hyperfund, I'm not sure yet how to do that. So this is something, you know, I still have to figure out. So, but for the LinkedIn part, Huntley and I will do a presentation on that. And I'll show you the messages that I send, and but so we will do that separately from here. Okay, the highs and the lows. The highs for me are when I'm able to connect with somebody and really, you know, the highest for me, first of all, when I see people interacting on my post, leaving a message that is more than just only like good morning or awesome, but you know, at least more than 5 words. And then for me, it gives me that through my words, let's say, to my post, it gives me that I am some sort of meaning, that my post that I wrote, the content that I wrote was of value. And that is the high for me. And then to connect with the person and to, you know, to explain them about Hyper, or to invite them, let's say, into Hyperfund, and then for them to come in and join the presentation. And that is already for me a high when when I'm in the presentation and I click on participant and I see their names in there and I see them until the end. Also looking at the second part. So that is for me already a high. And yes, of course, when you have people after that joining your team. So I also do it in a different way, like I hear that Derek and Boris connect right away with people to jump on there on a Zoom call. But when I started online, I got a lot of crazy men, let's say, and so I have switched it around. And you'd be shocked what the things I have seen when I first started. So I have switched it around. I first connect with it on Facebook. They first have to, you know, connect with me through my post, and I connect with them through their post. And that's how I built a relationship. They come and watch the presentation, and if they have watched the presentation, then I ask them to I say, let's jump on a call. I do say that already in the message that I sent to them, you know, let's when you have done the presentation, you have questions, let's jump on a call, and so that we can clarify some of the questions that you have. And I do the same thing for LinkedIn. So, and the lows for me is that, you know, having 11 people in and only 4 or 5 people funding their account, that is very draining. And so that is a really low feeling for me. And that sometimes gets into my head that I think, okay, what's the point? You know, then I feel that sometimes I don't want to get too excited about somebody joining me, because then I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see if he or she will fund. So this is the part, and so this is something I need to switch, you know, my mindset on that. And every time I feel that low, I need to, you know, I try to switch that and to get motivated again and to, you know, continue with what I am doing. So my next level is one more thing, and go back one more thing. The low thing is also for me, I lost 3 people that joined from the 11. I lost 3 people because I didn't know how to help them to fund their account. I lost a family friend. She said, this is not for me. I'm not technical. I don't like doing all of these kind of things. And I said, okay, how about I set up your account, and would it then be interested to you? She said, if you set up everything, that's fine. Then I will join you, and I will put some money in, and let's get rich together. But then I said, okay, awesome, I will do that. But can you give me some details? But only thing you need to do is to set up your wallet. And this is where then she said, she looked at it, says, this is too much, I can't do that. And basically she stopped. That stopped. I had one person who has Cash App, and who doesn't know how to put his Bitcoins convert it to Tether and to put it in Hyperfund. Well, I don't know either. I don't have Cash App. So we both looked at 3 different YouTube videos to see how to get it done. And we were not able to figure it out. And the other day I messaged him, is there anything how's it going? Is there anything I can help you with? And then he said to me, yes, I want help, but I don't think you're the right person to help me because you don't know about how to, and that hurts. So now he is basically not really responding back. And there's the same thing with another person. He lives in Ireland. So I have 2 people from the UK, not from the USA, and one person from my friend who now is in Turkey, my family friend. And so I have 4 people, and one person in Ireland who also his bank or his wallet wouldn't let to get the money out. So it is still stuck there. And he once in a while contacts me, but yeah, basically I see that as a loss too. So those are 4 people, and those things are really a low for me. So, and my next level would be, it is for me that I really learn how to set up an account for somebody from A to Z. So set up a Hyperfund account for somebody, and also set up, for people to trust me, to get to that point that people trust me enough to send them their money to me so that I can fund their Hyperfund account. Because both 2 people were willing to do that, but because I didn't know how, I basically lost that. So that would be my next level. If I am able to do that, because that's when I would really be able to serve my prospects. So this is about me. I hope it was within the 10 minutes or 50 minutes. And I'm wondering, what is your next level? That's all. And this is about me. So I will, about me. I mean, this is my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Myrna. And I've learned a lot too. I must admit, that was very, very inspirational. I will say this, and a lot of you go through this, and again, it's down to communication. And if I haven't communicated enough with you, the team's now 150 people. I do need you to come back to me if you have issues, because we have solutions to every single thing you just covered, Myrna. I myself am not very technical, so I tend to point people to get the technicality solved. And I've made it much easier. And with a lot of the people in the team now, I'm saying to them, right, okay, people don't need their Nexo wallet straight away. I avoid the technicalities getting a difficult situation. I get people signed up, funded within an hour of doing a presentation. So let me just go through some of the things I do, and maybe you can actually appreciate then how to avoid situations that are going to make it difficult for you. Most people want change. Most people want something different. Most people want and value something. And by the way, just on that subject, Myrna, I do believe that women have to go through different situations to men, and this is obviously an obvious thing. And one of my people has actually contacted me and said, look, I'd like to form a women's group, and I believe that would be very, very beneficial. So you could actually form a women's group in WhatsApp and talk about the different difficulties that you go through. Because obviously, when you're in social media, when you've got your picture out there, in fact, one of my team members has actually changed her picture to an ugly person because the men that are contacting her are just too many, and it's horrible. And she's not considered a businesswoman because she's put a picture or profile picture there. So it's really, really important for people to appreciate that, you know, sometimes women go through things that they don't need to, but because of the societies we live in, this is the way it is. She's often getting approached from people abroad who want to marry her and things like that. So, you know, it's off-putting. So I understand and appreciate that. So yes, I believe I will talk to a few of the leaders, the leader women, and get a group formed for you guys in WhatsApp so you can discuss your needs and wants, and, you know, how to deal with situations and how different people are actually working through that. Because there are people who actually deal with that on a regular basis, and they are dealing with it and they know how to deal with it. Not being a woman, it makes it a bit more difficult for me, but I do appreciate and understand the situation. So on that front, you know, we'll have something going, because I do believe there needs to be a female group that can actually help each other and inspire each other as well. So, but the other questions, Myrna, that you brought up, which is really relevant, is you know, the technical side of things. You know, me and technicalities don't get on very well. So I tend to be a person who actually talks and you know, inspires people that way. So let me just go through what I've been doing recently, which might help some of you think about the way you do your hyperfund. You don't have to use this method, but it's working very well for me. The last, I don't know, 20 people I've signed up have actually come through this method, either for myself or for other people in the team. So what I've been doing is I've been actually going directly into my calculator. Hopefully you can all see that there. Yeah, okay, so if you haven't got the calculator, we'll get the link to you, but we have posted it in the group a number of times. So you'll find it there. By the way, on your groups, on your Telegram group, your WhatsApp group, if you go to the top and click in there, you can actually go directly to links and documents as opposed to scrolling through the chat. I don't know how many of you knew that, but I assumed everyone did. It's a lot quicker than scrolling through the chat to find the link to the meetings, etc. You just literally click in the top and then go to links, or you go to documents, or you go to pictures or media, and you'll find the pictures, etc. So it's a quick way of doing it. So, okay, so what have I been doing differently recently, and that's working very, very well? I've actually been using the calculator as the way to get into people. So let's say somebody introduces somebody to me on a Zoom call, and I talk to them and I find out whether they've listened to any presentations. Some of the times they haven't. Then I ask them, you know, what are you interested in? Why do you actually come into this meeting? Is it because you want a secondary income? Is it because you want, you know, to earn more? What is it? And then you find out what they want. So initially what I do is I actually complete the bit with starting. Well, I say to people, well, the minimum to get started in this opportunity is 300. Now, some people like to build networks and some people don't, okay? It doesn't really matter. What matters is what you want and how fast you want it. Because if it requires you to share this opportunity with other people, then you'll do it because you want it in a certain amount of time. So the driving force is your wants, your dreams, your you know, your don't wants and your needs. So let's say somebody comes to me, for example, who's got their daughter or son going to university next year. That's their main goal now. That's all they're thinking about. Okay, so I always ask them, if you go to my YouTube, you'll see there's a video in there. And in fact, I'm going to develop now that called What's Your Number? The number is the most important thing to a person, and they don't know it, but the number could equate to anything. It could equate to your desire, your want, or your need. Everything has a number. So I initially start by saying to people, okay, so the minimum to actually get involved in this opportunity is 300 HU, which is equivalent to $300. Now I say to people that the way it works is the company, first of all, pays you 3 times what you put in. So that's 900. I show them that. So 3 times, but it's paid at 0.05 a day, which works out at 150 a day. Now that doesn't sound a lot, but over time that actually becomes a lot, And the first thing you need to understand that this is much better than any bank, any finance situation where you can actually add to your money. So some people in my team have come back after a week and said, you know, I've made, what is it, 1050, and they just can't believe it, 1050 in 1 week. Now you wouldn't throw a tenner, you know, if you saw 10 pounds or 10 euros on the ground, you wouldn't throw it away, would you? And it has got value. And this is the important thing, is 10 euros, 10 pounds, $10, whatever, more than what you had. And this is the important bit. People put very little value on this. So you start off there. And then I say to people, look, if you join this, let's go 1 year in. And I actually show them this way. And this is in the presentation. I'm actually doing what I do in the presentation. So I actually go say, okay, let's go to 365 days. So 1 year after joining, and this is, by the way, this is not joining a single person, but you are doing a rebuy. At every 50 HU, you can put the money back and get 3 times that value. You can also take that money out and begin to actually take the money out towards that 900. That's important to understand. So I say to people, if you put the 50 down, put 50 back every time you get it, which is approximately in the beginning 34 days, then you actually make money, because now you have compounding. So at 365 days, you got 3,672. Now I'd go up to somebody and say, look, you know, let me pick on somebody. Let's do a bit of a role play here. Who can I pick on? Let's see. And I'm not picking on anyone particular. I'm just going through to see who's here. Let's see. Okay, Huntley, can you unmute, please?
All right, Derek.
Thank you. So you're my prospect today, and I'm talking you through the calculator. Okay, so Huntley, so 365. Okay, so at 365, 1 year in, you've got 3,672. Okay, let's call it 3,600. So what would 3,600 do for you, Huntley? What would it do for you today? If you had that money in your hands, what would you do with it?
Put it in hyperfund.
No, you're not in hyperfund. Pretend you're a prospect. What would you do with it? What would it enable you to do now, right now?
That would be a sizable amount towards me buying like a nice camper van, which is something I've wanted for some time. So that would be fantastic after a year.
Okay.
That'd be
So
really great.
imagine waiting now another 3/4 of the year. Okay, so 600 days, that's 20 months. Imagine waiting that little bit longer. How would 11,000 be for that?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be crazy. Out of $300, that would be my camper van.
Okay. Now, going the way you're currently going, Huntley, with the job you've got, etc., assume you're not in this, obviously. Going the way you're going at the moment with the job you've got, do you see yourself in 2 years being able to save £11,000?
No. Basically,
okay.
no.
Okay, so this would obviously be a good way to do it. Now, what I want to tell you, Huntley, is that this isn't the minimum. I mean, this is the minimum. It's not the maximum. Okay. And I want to just show you something. And again, it's not to show you so that you think that you can find it, but imagine you were able to find an extra 10,000. And the reason why I show you this, I want to show you the power of compounding. Okay. So I'm going to show 10,000, which is what we need to earn 50,000 a day. Okay. I mean, sorry, $50 a day. Okay. So again, 3x that would be 30,000. So in the same period of time, Huntley, that we talked about you getting 11,000, now you'd actually be able to get 30,000. Would 30,000 buy you a nice camper van?
Oh, yes.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, let me just show you this then. So 30,000 is sort of the minimum if you chose not to share it with anybody and you actually just went into the system and you took the money out without rebuying. Okay. But let's say you started putting the money back, so you've got a rebuy situation. So every time you put it back, you get 150. Let's again go back to the first year and see how much we get towards your camper van. So at 365 days now, Huntley, we've actually got 138,000. You're now earning 350 a day. Would 138,000, do you think, buy your camper van or your dream camper van? Or would you have some?
It might buy me 3.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so now the reason why I shared 10,000 is because when you share this with people, you'll find some put more in, some put less in. It doesn't really matter. But the point about compounding is it happens much faster when you get to 50. And the reason why I'm showing the 50 is because everyone gets to 50 at some point, 50 a day on the HU. And the point is to try and get there faster. Now, Hunty, if I said to you, you know, you said, tell me you've only got 300 to put in to start with, and that's 50 HU every 34 days. Okay, you might think that's a bit slow, but if I said to Hunty, look, if you can share this with a few family members and a few other people to actually get that there quicker, would you be interested in learning how to do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a training system. We've got everything that helps you get there. And at the end of the day, remember, I've got an invested interest in your success, because you're also helping, you know, for me to get to 50 a day quicker as well. And that's the way we work. We work as a team. So the more people I can help get to 50 a day, the more, you know, it'll help you as well, you know, with your goals and your dreams, etc. So what you've noticed there, everyone, is that I'm trying to get people to focus on the results of what we're doing, mixed in with what they want. And I've been doing more and more of that as I've developed this, because I've only started doing this over the last few weeks. And then what happens inevitably is at the end I say, you know, have you got any questions, or you know, do you need anything answered? They don't know about Hyperfund. They only know this so far, and they don't need to know anything else, because at this stage they can join. Okay, it might be that they haven't got all the information, but they will ask more questions. And if they really ask a lot more questions, what I then do is I actually go back to them and say, which is important, I go back to them and say, well, look, you know, there's a presentation I'd like you to watch. I insist on them watching the presentation anyway after I've done this bit, because a lot of people actually come back to me and say, look, I want to join now. What is it? What do I have to do to join? And going back to the technicalities, Myrna, I even avoid talking about all the bit, you know, the MOF and the HU and opening up an Nexo account. That's just confusing people. So in order to avoid that confusion, I say what we'll do is we'll get you set up with an account. We'll get you all sorted. And inevitably, one or two people, I've done it myself, but I've had to enlist the help of others until I got better. So what's the best way of learning? Find out from the people who know it, do it over and over again until you get it, and then you can do it. You know, so learn. I've had to do it. I'm only just at the stage now where I can actually open up an X account and help somebody else open it, but I don't get them to do that in the beginning. I say to them, okay, the best way to fund this, and again, as you develop in this business, you'll understand how to do it even faster, how CalPERS and all the rest do it. I actually put money out of my HU into my deposit account, and again, we can show you that. So there's always money there to help people. So what happens now is if somebody pays me directly, I use the HU in my deposit account to open up their account directly. I just literally transfer it in seconds. And again, we might do a training on this separately. So all I need is the new person's username, and within seconds, I can actually transfer the 300 HU straight into their account and they're open. So again, we don't need to go down the complicated route unless somebody's already familiar with crypto, etc. The whole point about this is it's to make it as easy and simple as possible for people. And by doing that, we avoid any complexity and everything else. Later on, they need it. Really, nobody, I didn't need my accounts, Nexo account or anything, till I started withdrawing money, which was about 6 months later. You know, people don't really need to know anything other than they're making money in their account once they've got their account. Obviously, if they ask questions, then we answer them, and we go down the more complicated route. But to avoid all that, just literally go from this, and then I show them my back office. Again, when you go into your back office, it doesn't matter what you're earning in your back office. Let me just see if I can go in here and show you what I do. Oh, yeah, yep, it has expired. Okay. So in my back office, I actually show them you know, once you open your account, I'll go through this with you. I say to people, the first place you want to go to is my deposit address. When you give me your deposit address, I'll deposit the funds in for you. All you've got to do is pay me the money, and I'll do that for you directly. It'll happen in minutes. And then I go through all the various parts of the back office. You know, the marketing bit they won't necessarily have when they join, because you only get that when you actually start introducing people. And then the reward system, I just quickly go through this. So I say here, what this amount of money here, the 21,538, is the actual HU that comes in on a daily basis, plus all the rebuys. Now, every time I take money out, it actually reduces that by the amount I take it out by. And every time that happens, this gets lower. So the figures actually go up and down. And I cover the back office really on a need to know basis. I don't actually try and show everything. What I do is ask them questions. A lot of me is listening to other people, and through listening to them, you can then decide what they need to see, because everyone doesn't necessarily need to see everything. Not everyone wants to be confused, by different things. It all depends on people's mindset. It depends on where they are and how complex their minds are. And it's important, again, to keep this very, very simple. If somebody hasn't got a complex mind, you could just bamboozle them with information, and then they could turn around and say, I'm not interested, this looks too complicated. So avoid that. And that's what I've been trying to do. I think you guys know from the previous business I was in with all of you, that I try to keep things as simple as possible. I think you remember the presentation that I did with the membership of the club, the membership to the club. I did that to actually avoid the complex business presentation we had before. So yeah, so that's it really, to simplify everything. Now, what I'd like to do is, while we're here, is open up to everyone to ask you if you have any questions about anything, and then we can close down now, because we've been just over an hour, nearly an hour and a half. Thank you for attending today, and I hope it's actually made a difference. Thank you to Jill so much for your presentation, and Myrna. They were brilliant presentations. I couldn't have done better. I can honestly say that, because the way you covered your material was fantastic. The graphics were really good, and I enjoyed watching that. I have not got that technical skill of, the types of graphics you put into your, your presentations. And if you put that much effort into that, just imagine what you can do with your businesses as they grow. So I'll open up now. Yeah, anyone wants to open up and say anything or comment or anything at all, please.
Morning, Derek.
Morning. Hi.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great Saturday so far. I've got a question that keeps popping up when I mention everything to prospects, and that's when can I get my money out? When can I start withdrawing the money? And also the second part of the question is, once I get to 100 and then 150, am I reinvesting the whole lot of it to make the final figure, or am I reinvesting continuously 50?
Okay, well, this is a very good question. And the thing about this, and again, I implore you to use three-way calls with your upline, because you'll learn the answers to these questions as people ask. This is really vital. But let me answer that question simply. You need to begin to understand the processes yourself very, very quickly if you can. And the best way to do that is listen to the technical training. Now, on the money getting back, okay, we are paid at 0.05 a day on any amount that we put in. So the first thing is, we can take the money out once we get our first 50. So when you get 50 HU, it could be 34 days on 300, it could be every day on 10,000. You can start withdrawing that money. Important to understand. Once you understand that, then you understand how it's withdrawn. So that's when you can withdraw. Now, if you do start withdrawing immediately, and carry on withdrawing, you will actually only get the 3x, because you're withdrawing the full amount. You're not putting it back. Then the other thing is understanding the rebuy scheme. When people actually put the money in again, they get 3x that money. So if you put 50 back, you get 150 added to your total. So that is where the money comes in and makes it more than the amount than the 3x that you're being paid. So you're actually getting a lot more with the compounding. And again, it's understanding that calculator. Go back to the calculator and look at it as much as you can, guys, because this will help you understand the processes. Day by day, you can see what's happening on that calculator. So 50 gets added, 150, when you put it back, 150 gets added to your total, okay? If you withdraw it, however, that 50, it'll come off your total. So let's say you've got 300 and it's now 900, your total. When you take 50 out, that'll make it 850. You will be at 850 left to pay. If you don't take out the 850, but you put the 50 back, sorry, the 50, then you actually add 150 to your 900. So now the money's going up. So as that money goes up, you can withdraw at any time. Now, what I suggest people do with your downline is find out what their needs are in terms of their money. That's why I keep saying, what's your number? So let's assume your number is $100 a day that you need to survive on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, let's say. Then what you need to do is double that. So when you get to 200, you're able to put back 100, because if you're not putting anything back, that contract will end at the end of 600. You will not have a residual income beyond the 600. You need something going in to pay back at a later date. So I actually take out half my money currently, and then half goes back to pay me at a later date. So it carries on. That's why my amount now is over 21,000 that I'm owed. So once you actually do that, then that's the way forward. Obviously, there are people out there who might just want to take it all out, and that's fine. We're not saying you can't, but they need to understand the implication of taking out the money straight away. Now, people say to me, oh, well, why can't I take out my money straight away? Well, hang on a minute. They're giving you 3 times your value of your money. You need to give something back. You can't get it for free. 3 times the value of your money. A bank wouldn't even give you that. So the thing is, it's time that they need. They need your money in their account for a certain amount of time. And once you get that, then you understand why we get so much in return. And again, it's not coming out of the money we're paying into this business. The other thing you need to understand is the money we pay in goes to different projects, which are part of the ecosystem. The company doesn't even pay us 0.5% of its worldwide profit. What they pay us is insignificant, although it's in the millions every month. The commission's paid out to over 500,000 people. It's in the millions. And that is more than what we pay in currently. So the people paying in, you know, whatever they paid in, remember, it's going for a long-term period. Your money's in there for 600 days. So what they're making out of us is insignificant compared to their worldwide profits. The whole point about this is mass adoption of the new deregulated banking system. When you understand that, then you begin to understand there's a much, much bigger picture than just the hyperfund bit, a much bigger picture. On a global scale, it's massive. Okay, so the thing is, we need to get that into people's heads. And if we can't do it ourselves, then get with your upline, get on the 3-way calls, learn as you grow. Because if you don't learn what to say to people, I haven't just suddenly learned this. You know, on day 1, when I was talking to Boris, in fact, even when I reached my first level of expert, I didn't even know what that meant to me. You know, I was expert, I was receiving this extra income. I didn't know what it meant in percentages or anything. So I attended the events. I attend presentations almost daily. I attend trainings weekly. Now, I'm not saying you have to, but what I'm saying is if you don't do that, you're going to be that much further behind than other people. And it's basically a fact. We can't change that. You know, if you're not able to, it's not your fault necessarily. It might be your work, etc. But understand this: people are moving ahead by virtue of the fact that they're listening to more, seeing more, learning more, doing more 3-way calls. And that's the only difference. We're all on a completely level playing field, and that's important to understand as well. Everyone here is on the same level playing field. I put in 900, some people have put 10,000, some people have put 100,000, but I was still being able to retire within 12 weeks of joining. I was working 60 hours a week, and I was actually building this, you know, one person at a time. I joined 3 people in my second week. I joined a few more. I've joined a total of 16 people. 12 weeks after I joined, I was able to retire, having only put $900 in. You know, and there are other people who put a lot more and been able to, you know, get money. But some of the people, even with 10,000, haven't reached what I've reached because they haven't shared it with people. The company actually rewards us more for sharing than money. And this is another important thing to understand. The more you share, the more you'll make, because their whole reason for existence is to get to 30 million. So it's important for you to understand that they will reward us well. You know, in my back office, I've got currently $10,000 to spend in the shopping mall and any other projects that they bring forward. That hasn't come because, you know, I put a lot of money in. That's come because I've shared it with a lot of people. You know, and you guys are partly responsible for that. You know, I've got a team of what, 16 individuals I introduced. 16 has led to 150. I don't even know everyone yet. I only know maybe half of the team. But the whole point about this is the systems we have in place here in our team specifically is second to none. No other team in the whole world has got the mastermind club, which runs every morning. No other team in the world runs the sort of trainings we have, like this Saturday training getting started. Boris and I have been running training systems for years, and we were actually, prior to this, going to start our own training company for other MLM users and network marketers, because we understand the importance of training and the glue that keeps it together when you've got 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000 people in your organization. You will not be able to keep it together unless you join the training systems. And it's important for you to also make sure that your people join. I actually say one of the conditions of joining is that you attend at least one event, one presentation a week, and one training a week. Now, if you can't get your people into it, then you need to look for new people who are going to be into it, because at the end of the day, your growth and your success is dependent on it. So it's going back to, again, what today's theme is, you know, finding leaders. And leaders are people who actually want to change their lives, people who are willing to change their lives, and people who are willing to pay a price to change their lives. So yeah, no, very good question, V. And, you know, hopefully that answers it to some extent. Anyone else before we go? I'm conscious of time.
Eric?
Yeah.
Sorry, just quickly, I was just going to say, regardless of what Mina was just saying about she lost a couple of people because she didn't have the information, not being able to set up somebody or register somebody. Just as a suggestion to anyone, myself and Derek were setting up an account the other day, and what I did is came on the Zoom with Derek and this other, I think it was my sister actually, she's setting up another account, and I recorded it. And then what I did is I went back to the recording and systematically went through it and wrote everything down that was applicable to the stages. And then I duly set up another person with those instructions. So it might be worth saying to anyone, if you're not sure, get on with Derek or Volker or whatever and record it. And then once you've recorded it, go back and go through it slowly and write it all down. And then you're ready to go ahead and sign anybody up. And that certainly worked for me. So it might be just a suggestion that might be worth thinking about.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good idea. Also, guys, you know, there is technical training recordings as well of everything we do, including taking the money out of your account and how to do it. The reason why we don't focus on it is because the company's already got those presentations done. So there's no need for us to cover the technical side. So it's up to you guys to go into your into the website where the training is. There's two, if you remember, it's the one with the two passwords. So one is leadership training and technical training. Yeah. So you need to go into that. Yeah.
No. But I was saying, I do know how to set up somebody's account in Hyperfund because I did that now. But the thing is, what they don't teach is how to fund somebody else's account when they send you the money directly, because a lot of people are scared, first of all, of this whole blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin thing. And then secondly, most people are scared of all the technology. And so for what I am, because I sent a message in the group asking for help. and it was said, go and watch on YouTube. Now that to me is not help. And we did watch on YouTube, but we couldn't, it didn't work. So, and I don't think, this is not what I want to say to my people, to my prospect, go watch on YouTube, because that is not me stepping up as a leader. If you want us to be a leader, then this is what I need. I need to figure out a way. And if I have to do it by myself, it's fine. I just don't want to lose somebody's money. That's the only thing.
Oh, no, I totally agree, Mana. But the thing is, remember, you've got your upline to reach directly to. I wouldn't use the group, because the group, remember, they're different people at different stages.
I did directly ask my upline, and then that upline. So I didn't got anywhere and basically lost that person.
Okay,
so
well, Volker has always been our technical person. So I think most people know that, and he's Boris's upline, and he was actually my technical person, go-to person to only a month ago. So if I didn't know, I would have pointed people out to Volker. So it's important to understand, you know, we're all learning at the end of the day. But if you guys know, Volker is actually Boris's upline, and he's in the group. And if you need technical help, he's the first person, or sorry, if you go to your immediate upline first and then work your way up. And then if none of them can answer the question, definitely he can, because he's worked with lots of different exchanges. He's worked with lots of different ways of sending money. He knows how to take money out. He's the first person in the group. He had to show me 2 or 3 times how to take my money out. So yes, I do believe that these things can be technically difficult for people. So we need to know who to go to. That's the important thing. I wouldn't use the group to necessarily ask questions, because remember, this is all a learning group. These are new people as well. So sometimes it can put people off. So I'd actually, the group is really for communicating what's going on, the latest trainings, the latest bits and pieces that are happening in the group itself. Guys, I'm conscious of time now. So if you actually, because I don't want to overrun like some groups do, I do want to make sure we finish on time. If you have any questions that you want to, you know, pass on to us, do that, please. Yes, Suresh.
Yeah, I think I can clearly see from various questions. Is there anything we can create a kind of a PowerPoint presentation to clear the doubts? Or otherwise, every fortnight, kind of a little training regarding this fund transfer from wallet to account. Yes.
Okay, Suresh, as you volunteered, I think it's a good thing that you put up together a PowerPoint for us. That would be brilliant for us. Yeah. So it's really, really good. Yeah. Thank you very much for offering, because I mean, we need somebody to do something, and if you're willing to do it, that's brilliant. We'll share that. Okay, great. So guys, thank you very much for today. I don't want to overrun, and I'm conscious of the fact that we've been on here for a long time. So everything today was inspiring. Thank you for your presentations, guys. Thank you, Tom, also for what he shared with us. And listen, just because we're finishing out, it doesn't mean you can't say anything. Just get with the person, or talk to me, or reach out, whatever. You know, we're not saying we can't answer your questions, but what we're conscious of all thing is people's time. So enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your Sunday. Look forward to the technical training later. If you're on that at 10:30, it's usually very good. And see you soon, and see you in the 3-way calls and everything else. And do reach out. I think my main thing I'm picking up from today is the communication is not happening as it should. Remember, I haven't got a job to go to, guys, so I have got a lot more time than a lot of people. So I'm here doing this full time. So if you want to reach out, I will get back to you at some stage. So, you know, don't think that I won't. But obviously, like Kalpesh, as it gets bigger, you'll have to reach out to your upline, and then do it that way, because we'll have to work through our leaders, basically. But if you're not getting the answers you want from your upline, then get back to me. If you're not getting back enough from me, go to Boris or Volker directly. You know, at the end of the day, we're all here to help you. Okay, so thank you very much for your time today, and look forward to seeing you next Saturday. And Jill, we've thoroughly enjoyed the book of the month now, and I think you've got the job for life now. So thank you.
That's all great. Right, bye, thank you very much. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Derek. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jill. Bye.